Hi guys, and welcome to the PEARL by OPAL podcast. My name is Kaylin. I'm an interior designer and hairstylist. I've been in the beauty industry now for 10 years, and I just want to give you guys a little bit background about myself and my story. I was in college for design when I first got my assistant position at a salon. The woman who owned the salon at the time noticed my talents and said to me, "Why don't you get a job doing hair? Why don't you go to school for hair?" And honestly, I'm like, I don't know. I just never thought about it. She's like, "You are way too good to not do hair. You should totally go to school for this." She's like, "It's recession proof. No matter what, at the end of the day, you can put a chair on the side of the road anywhere, any state, and always make money. With design, it kind of is contingent on whether or not you're in a city or wherever you're living, especially the economy, if people can afford it." So I thought to myself, what the heck? Let me go to school, get my license, just in case design doesn't work out, I'll always have something to fall back on. And like she said, it is recession proof. So my senior year of college, I also did hair full time, worked at the salon and waitress. That was a tough year, but I did it. I got through it, and here I am. So once I was done with hair school, I knew that I wanted to work at the best salon in the state. So I searched exactly for that. I got myself dressed up. I had a portfolio, resume, business cards, and I walked in with confidence and applied for a position. They informed me that they were only hiring assistant positions, which was a program that you had to do for a year before you could get on the floor, which I was more than willing to do. I was like, you know what, if this is what I have to do to get into the salon, I'm willing to do it. So they called me back, and luckily I got the job. I was totally ecstatic. I couldn't believe I got into the best salon in the state. But part of me was a little bit bummed that now I had to be an assistant all over again. Although I had just finished doing an assistant position, I was a little bummed about that. But you know what? Well, I was like, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to do it. Get this over with. And it was the best thing ever. I learned so much in this one assisting position than I learned in any hair school. It was so informative, and I truly believe that the assistant aspect is crucial because it formed me into the stylist that I am today. I then became a full-time stylist on the floor for several years after that. But something deep in me really wanted to do my own thing, to own my own business. My family owns a company. My dad has owned a business ever since I could remember. And I just think that entrepreneurship runs deep inside my bones. So October 2016, my salon, Opal, was born. It originated in a Sola Studios. Not sure if you guys are familiar with those, but it's kind of like a co-op, and it's a bunch of like little salons within a large building, and you can have either one studio or two studio. I thought it was great. I really did love it, and you feel like you have that your one-on-one time with your client in your privacy because you could shut your door and everything, and you also have like the camaraderie of like other stylists because they're right next to you, so you have like the best of both worlds. But ultimately for me, I ended up not loving it entirely because it was just A, too lonely, B, way too expensive for what it was, and C, way too tiny. I ended up having the studio for a total of 5 months, but it was probably into the second month that I realized, okay, this isn't for me. So I started researching, rentals nearby for a salon. I knew deep down that I really wanted to own my own salon one day, so that's what I sought out for. I ended up finding this perfect little gem located in Avon, Connecticut, and I was able to transform it completely into my dream salon. So I feel like I had the best of both worlds. I got to do my design, I got to do hair, and ultimately ended up with the perfect salon. If you guys are interested in seeing the transformation of the salon, you guys can go to opalct.com, click our story, and at the bottom of the page, you could click View Remodel. So you're probably wondering why I named this podcast Pearl. and what it is. So let's get into that. I wanted to create a platform, an inspirational, educational platform for hairdressers, that they could come and get inspired or have knowledge that is at their fingertips. Jump on a podcast, listen to guest speakers or professionals in the industry, and maybe find out which direction in their career that they wanted to go. I wish when I was in hair school and when I got out that I could have listened to a podcast or, been able to get information and figured out what I want to do with my career, because statistically speaking, 95% of students that go for hairdressing do not stick with it. But I think if they realized that there was different avenues that they could take, that would change. So the name Pearl is very near and dear to my heart. First off, it is the birthstone of June, which is my birth month. But the main reason why I love Pearl is that the definition of pearl means unique. One of a kind, no two pearls are alike. Have you guys ever heard the term no grit, no pearl? Like digging down deep and finding your pearl? Well, I love the story of what is a pearl and how does it come about. So you have an oyster, right? And then you have a piece of sand that gets inside the oyster and it aggravates it and it irritates the oyster. So it starts developing all of this mucus. And the mucus eventually builds up, and it builds up to the point that it creates this beautiful pearl. So I think we can use this as an analogy in our lives that, trials or tribulations or anything that happens to us or that aggravates us is that piece of sand getting inside and just driving you to your true potential. My mission with Pearl is to encourage your uniqueness and for you to realize you are one of a kind. We want to help you to reach your truest potential. So the Pearl podcast is going to be broken up into a 5-week rotation, using each letter of Pearl as our topic. So P will be power. We might have somebody on the show that talks about maybe they own a salon, or whatever their specialty is. Maybe, for me, it's blondes and extensions. How did you find your power? How did you realize that that was your power? And how did you become successful with it? E is for energy. Energy could be down to your branding, your business cards, to your salon menus, to your website. Your client has to understand that that speaks of your energy before they even walk into the door and then experience the salon. A is adaptation. This industry is constantly evolving and ever-changing, so we do have to constantly adapt. R will be reliability. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You have to be reliable in any job that you're in, but especially when you're a hairdresser, your clients are relying on you to deliver a service. And overall experience. L will be life. And life will be a fun topic because we can maybe have somebody on the show that's a mother or what have you, and we'll talk about how do you juggle being a mom and being a full-time stylist. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am about this podcast. I am so excited to have all these guest speakers on the show and to give you guys some really cool content. If you guys have any suggestions or topics that you want to hear about, please leave us a review. I would love to know your opinion. And if you want to check out the podcast website a little further, you can visit us at pearlbyopal.com. See you soon, guys.